5, 4, 3, 2, are you ready?
The CJ Howard Show. Now let's go to CJ Howard.
Another dreamy Sunday evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the CJ Howard Sports Talk Show, episode number 7 for everybody. I am CJ Howard with you live from my apartment in Hazard, Kentucky. Glad to be with you on this Sunday night, and we're always with you every Sunday night from 8 to 10. We are live on the Facebook. We're live on my show page. We're also live on the D&D Sports Network. We're also live on YouTube if you would like to check us out as much as well. Guys, get those comments going. I want to see a lot of comments, a lot of stuff go on tonight. I just posted a comment in the box. This is how you can get John Hong's new book from Amazon. So you guys might want to check that out if you want to click on the link there and maybe get his book. It's a good book. It's a good read if you've not got a chance to read it. You need to read that as well. I've got a great show. I've got a good co-host. Actually, I'm thanking him very, very much for stepping in at the last moment. He had a lot going on. I appreciate him coming in. Les Dixon was supposed to have been with me. He had to go do some. He had an emergency that he works for the state, so he had to go do take care of that. He said he would make it up to me later down the road. So Les is out protecting the public. So we got a great guest list tonight too. We're going to talk with Kenny G from the 12th Region Sports Network here in about 10 minutes. Then at 8:30, we're going to talk with Frederick Douglass head football coach Nathan McPeek. And we're going to get ready as Frederick Douglass had the week off. They got mail coming up on Saturday or Friday night. That should be a dandy there in Louisville. Jason Woodman, the head football coach of the Morehead State Eagles, is going to join us at 9 o'clock. We're going to talk about his Morehead State Eagles. They got a big win yesterday in the first conference game of the year. And Jack Demmler will join us at 9:30. We will talk about week 4 and week 5 and get into week number 6 as we will head that direction. My co-host tonight, he is one of the main cogs that runs the Turner Sports Group network that you see on Facebook. And this is Sandra Turner with me. Sandra, welcome. Thank you so much for stepping in here tonight.
Well, you're certainly welcome. I'm glad that you could invite me, and it was a little bit of spur of the moment, but we made it.
Yes, hopefully that everything will go well. We got to tell you what, Sandra, got a lot going on. We're already in week 6.
I know it's hard to believe. I was just mentioning that to our good friend James Elliott Turner a few days ago. It's just moving fast. It really is.
Yeah, basketball's going to be here before we know it. October 15th, what, 3 weeks away, 2 weeks away. I can't believe we're already in district play. A few teams have had district games. Everybody gets in the district play this coming week. If they don't have an open date, we do have some really good ball games on the schedule. I'm amazed by. Let's look at the schedule a little bit. We're going to look when Jack comes on, but I'm surprised by so many marquee games on this schedule for this week.
Well, we had some over the weekend too.
We did. Yes, we did.
Sure did, and we had a couple of teams that were undefeated that went down to defeat. And
we also need to mention too, we had a ton of games that were like moved around, switching dates because of the hurricane. Now, we want to first of all, I want to give our prayers to the people and everything that went on during the weather. And I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back to that just a little bit because I've got some other prayer requests that I want to give out and mention too. But you were right. There were several teams undefeated, not undefeated no more. And
some surprises too there, CJ. There was some surprises.
Yeah. But the schedule for this week, you got Hazard at Raceland. Now, originally you would have looked at this game and you would have thought, I don't know if this game, it would have been all Raceland. Hazard's playing so well right now, and they're having a great year under first-year head coach Matt Chandler. You saw what they did Friday night in the first half against Corbin. They went it, competed. Second half, Corbin just come out and ran the football. But I give Hazard credit. That's for me, it's a moral victory for the Bulldogs because I thought they played and they can take the momentum and build off of it as they head into the rest of the game here. And they got Paintsville in 2 weeks, Pikeville down the road, which will be probably for if they can beat Paintsville.
And Pikeville actually won Friday night, I think, or yesterday.
Saturday looked really good against GRC. And that's hard to play a game like that at the last moment. No preparing. You didn't know nothing about the opponent. But
there's some teams playing tomorrow night, CJ. I know Powell.
We've got Powell County and Fairview are playing tomorrow night because Powell County they had no electricity over there. Still some parts of some parts of Fairview didn't have electricity. So Powell County's about to play 2 games in 5 days. One road, a trip to Fairview, and they got a home game against McGoffin County, which is the district opener, which is a big game for them because that could determine who gets in the playoffs.
That's right.
So for Powell County, it's a big week. I mean, and they're going to have to turn a 360. But very rarely do you see a team play 2 games in 1 week.
It sure is, and they're playing well too.
Yeah, Powell County's not a bad football team, but Hazard Raceland. Perry's off this week. Leslie County's off this week. Those are coverage areas teams that you would listen to on WSGS or on WZQQ or on WJMD. Now, here are the Mountain Top 10 games this week. You got Corbin at Johnson Central. You got Bell County at Rockcastle County. You got Belfry at Lawrence County. You got North and South, the Battle of Laurel County. And then you got this game right here. You got Pulaski County at Madison Central. So then the other game,
CJ, that Bell County, is it at Rockcastle?
It's at Rockcastle, yes. And you remember
they're 2 undefeated teams, right?
No, Bell has lost. Okay. Bell lost 4-4 in week 1. But
Rockcastle beat Clay County Friday night or yesterday.
14-0.
That was one of the 2 teams that's undefeated.
Clay's a good football team. Clay is really a good football team. They can run the football. They can keep it away from you. And they can hurt teams like Bell and Rock because if you get 2 running teams, you get your clock running real fast. It ain't gonna last very long. Yeah. Okay, other games that Friday night, you got Breathitt County going to limp into Somerset. This is going to be we'll come back to this second because I know you covered that area a little more than I do, so we'll come back. East Ridge is at Paintsville. Harlan's at Middlesboro. This is a big game for Middlesboro. If they want a home playoff game in the first round of the playoffs, they need to beat Harlan on Friday night. If they do that, then they're going to set themselves up probably in 2 weeks when they play Williamsburg. They'll have that opportunity, a guaranteed home game already in their pocket. They just would have to. And Williamsburg is really, really good. Knox County Central's at Floyd Central. That's a district game. Knox Central's at McCreary Central. These are all district games, by the way. McGoffin County at Powell. Here's a good one. Martin County at Prestonsburg. Prestonsburg puts their undefeated streak on the line. They will play with Martin County. Martin County didn't look that bad either against Prairie Central. They had 2 turnovers. They had 3 big crucial turnovers there in the first half that really hurt them. Southwestern's at Harlan County. Pineville is at Williamsburg at Pineville. This is Pineville's home opener on their brand new field, the new turf and everything. So it's going to be a big, big event and everything. Holy Cross is at Morgan County. Lincoln County is at Wayne County. Wayne County had been undefeated coming into the weekend, and they lost their first game of the weekend too. We'll get Kenny G here. He can listen to us while we're doing this. Speaking of Wayne County, we're going to talk with him about the 12th region teams. Craig County, Virginia is going to be at Phelps. Ireland of Ohio is at Pikeville. And, of course, Powell County is going to play 2 games this week. They got a Monday night game against Fairview, and then they're going to turn back around Friday night. And, of course, they're going to play McGoffin County in Stanton. So, big schedule, monster games for everybody, playoff implications everywhere. And we're going to talk more about it in a little bit. Now joining us for the first time, really honored to have him on the show. I've seen their work on Facebook and other platforms here. They do a great job covering the 12th region in baseball, basketball, football. This is Kenny G with us from the 12th Region Sports Network. Kenny, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you guys very much for having me. I'm honored to do this. It was funny because I said, it was always us doing our show, and now I'm venturing out and doing other people's show. So it's always fun to experience the newness and get to talk to people I hadn't met before.
Sure.
Yeah, that's me too, because I love to get other people on here and we'll talk sports. I talk to a lot of coaches, but sometimes I like to talk to other media outlets too, because they can give me an input that some coaches going to tell me about their teams. You're going to tell me about the inside and outside of the other teams that we're not going to hear much about.
Coaches are only going to tell you what they want you to know.
Exactly. As I look at 12th Region football, there's not a lot of 12th Region teams are spread out all over the place. Most of them are in 3, 4, and 5A. We hardly have a 12th Region team in 1 and 2A. How come that's happened? Because you would have thought we would have had maybe a score or two in 1 or 2A. I don't know of any. You know of as well as I do. Most of them I know of them are either 3, 4, or 5.
Let's see. I'm a little so football's different from us. We cover what we call the 12th Region coverage area based off basketball and softball, baseball, those type things. But obviously football's done by class, so it creates a different dynamic. But no, I think Danville is 2A. I think Danville might be a 2A.
Danville's a 2A. Danville's a 2A. Yes.
Somerset
and Danville are 2A. I did forget about them too.
There's a lot of big schools in the 12th Region, guys. I mean, Pulaski County, that county, Lincoln County is a big school. Boyle's 4A, but they got Danville in there as well in that same county. Pulaski's a huge area. I mean, you got Somerset, Southwestern. You got Pulaski County itself, Wayne County, Rockcastle, the East and West Jessamines, and then McCreary Central. So there's a lot of pretty good sized schools in there.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about Boyle because we already know about Boyle. Yeah. Everybody knows about Boyle. Boyle's the Boyle.
They got the best player in the state of Kentucky. I mean, if anybody's got to watch him play, Montavian Quisenberry, he's the real deal. And I don't know. I mean, if anybody, it's hard to argue that he's not.
Yeah.
Well, their coach has got he's the premier coach as well too.
Yeah.
Well, Justin's been around a long time. Justin knows how to get it. I mean, he don't reload. He don't rebuild. He just reloads. And they're, a 4A football is a little bit different this year because we got a couple of schools over there in Franklin County and a couple others that are playing pretty good football. And I look at this RPI and I'm gonna actually bring it up right now. It amazes me that Boyle County is still. Let me see here. They're a third in the RPI right now, with Franklin County and Paducah Tillman being 1, 2. I don't like this RPI. I've never been a fan of it.
And go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I'm just saying you can't tell me that Corbin and Johnson Central both, who are 13 and 18, they can beat half of them top 10 teams that's in that.
I can give you an example of how bad the RPI is.
Now I do know one thing that Corbin did do, and it will boost their RPI big time. They're going to make up the Pulaski County game in week 10 in Corbin. Mm-hmm. Did you know that?
Yes. I've known it for a few days now. I knew it was a possibility the day they canceled it.
Well, they both had the open day. Both coaches, both Coach Burns and Coach Salmons both said, hey, we need to play. It's going to be a big game for both teams, RPI-wise, because Pulaski County may need that because I think they're the best team in 5A in that district. I think Southwestern's down. I think North's a good team, but they're inconsistent. They can't stay healthy. I think South's got a good team. I just think it's not right now. I think you give Coach Hines about 4 years. Yeah, I think you'll be talking about South World football. In Harlan County, I don't know. I mean, I can't tell you from week to week. I don't know what they're going to be from week to week. But I do know what Pulaski County is. They're for real. And I think they're the best. Besides Bull, I think Pulaski County is not close to them, but they can play. They can play about any school around. I think Pulaski County is for real.
Well, Pulaski got a chance to play Woodford a couple weeks ago, and 2 weeks ago, I think it was. And Pulaski's going to struggle with some of the speed that they face from some of these Lexington schools. And but now, as far as they're a good football team. Now they got a good quarterback, they got a good running back, they got good receivers, but they're going to be okay. Now, as far as the RPI goes, I mean, and of course, the RPI is done. 25% of it is your win-loss record, 50% of it's your opponent's win-loss record, and then the other 25% is your opponent's win-loss record. So when a Bull goes out of state and plays a top 15 team in the nation and beats them, it's no different than beating Danville. It's no different than beating a 500 team in your own area or something like that. So it does not benefit them.
That's just crazy, really.
And I don't know the fairest way to do it. But here, speaking of RPI and a team like Boyle, they can win on the road. They can win at home. Don't get me, everybody wants to be at home, but they're a team that can go. The RPI is more important to the other teams in 4A than it is to Boyle County.
Yeah. Sandra was getting ready to make a comment a moment ago. I didn't mean to cut him off, but go ahead and make your comment.
Well, I was noticing, like in one of the other sports, like I think it's soccer or volleyball, the RPI had a team ranked above another team that had won no games, and then there was a team below them that had won several games. So you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They had a team ahead of another team that had won games, but the team that was ahead of them had not won a game. So it's crazy. They were winless, but yet a team behind them had won several.
Now I leave that to the people who get paid the big bucks to figure out.
Yeah, I do. I think the one thing they should do is they should reward you for playing any game, period. I think you ought to get a point or two for playing out of state teams. Sometimes these teams can't find people to play. Who's gonna put Bowl on their schedule? Can you name? They're gonna be lucky to fill a 10-game schedule. But now they have to play 10 pounds. This is like Frederick Douglass. I looked at their schedule a few minutes ago because their coach is going to be here at 8:30. 9 of their 10 games, because they got one. 8 of their 10 games. 2's out of state, because they had to play 2 powerhouse schools that were probably ranked in the top 25 of the nation. The rest of them were 6A schools, which they had to play Trinity, Mayo, Ballard, Manual, all those schools, and they're not even in their district. Because Douglas is in the district with Henry Clay, Tates Creek, Lafayette. So,
and Douglas matched up the last game of the year.
And the last 2 years, what's happened? Boys, this destroyed Frederick Douglass.
Yes.
I mean, this took them to the woodshed. But you got to figure that.
I'm sorry, Frederick Douglass beat somebody the other night. That was a good team. Who was it?
Now, they were off this past week. They beat Corbin 2 weeks ago. I mean,
that's who it was, maybe.
Yeah, it hurt Corbin because Corbin was beat up when they played Hazard this week. They had 5 starters out. They had a couple in the game get hurt the other night. One returned, one didn't return for the game. But I applaud teams for playing a tough schedule because I think it makes you better.
Breathitt's had a tough schedule.
Oh God, Breathitt from the gauntlet.
Killer
Look
schedule.
Oh, yeah. And, but what's up? Breathitt the past couple weeks is getting Austin Sperry out. You be honest, Sandra, if Austin's not playing, they're not a very good football team. He has to be on the field because he makes plays for it. I
mean, he made an instant impact in that game with Hazard, and then he scored the first series that they played the other night against Letcher County.
Yeah, and he's going to come, they got a big game. Frank Somerset is really – now listen – Kenny G can tell me more. Now, is Somerset hurting right now? Because I feel like they're not playing the football that we thought we were going to see from them. I thought when the season began, I thought, okay, this Somerset team ain't going to lose a game. They're going to run over people. They're going to average 50 points a game. I think they're going to take 2A by storm. I think they're going to be Kroger Field. Then we saw really good win against Prairie Central. Then the last 4 games, they haven't looked like Somerset. Have they had some injuries? I'm trying to keep up with them as much as possible. but I've been wanting to get their coach on the show too. But I'm concerned about them because I don't feel like that. Tell me about Somerset.
They're a lot better than what people think they are or what they have shown. Of course, they get the big win. Then they go to Knox Central, or they beat Russell in overtime. But Russell's a little better than people realize, too. They look at Knox Central was, for all of us, is kind of like a head scratcher what's going on. But I think they had 120-some yards in penalties in that game.
Wow.
So then they go to Garrett County, which is one of our highlight games of the week. We went up there and watched them. They spotted Garrett County 21 points in the first quarter. 2 turnovers. And Garrett County's playing phenomenal right now, one of the hottest teams in the area. And, they gave up 1 touchdown. It was 28-7 at halftime. Garrett County won 35-28, I think it was. So Somerset battled all the way back, and Garrett made a ridiculous Cam Peak, made one of those catches where it hits a guy's hands and bounces up in the air and reins it in. Somerset catches a ball in the end zone to tie it, but the player's foot was out of bounds. So then they go a Lincoln County team that was 4-1 that has one of the best running backs in the 12th region. Somerset shuts them down, beats them 21-3 at home. The wind, the misty rain, and these guys are huge, man. They're big, and Clay Clevenger's he's going to work on getting them better. Look for Somerset to trend up now. Look, I think they went through their struggle of the year. I think they figured some things out. Chris Hughes is phenomenal. Bruner at quarterback. They got a Bartley. I can't remember his first name, but his last name's Bartley. He's like 6'4", 6'5", defensive end. And that, he had one of those, the quarterback threw it, and he jumped up and picked it like 15 feet away and ran it in for a touchdown and then dunked it on the goalpost. So,
that's a flag.
Listen, that's a little bit better than people realize. They are still figured out. I think their biggest problem, just to answer the long-winded answer to your question, is self-inflicted. Whether it be not executing, too many penalties, but they got pieces. They you say they're going to Breathitt this week?
No.
Breathitt's at Somerset.
Breathitt's at Somerset. See, Somerset's got their 2 biggest district games at Somerset. Yeah. You got Breathitt coming to town. You got Leslie County in week 8. So you know that, and then they got to go to Danville. Danville is? I don't know what has happened to Danville. Danville was quit. They won a game in 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I heard most of the players that would normally went to Danville are going to Boyle County now.
Yeah, I've heard that too. But he can tell us more. But tell me about not won a game in 2. That's not Danville football.
No.
They can't even score.
So they went. Listen. So there was a lot of issues with Danville. First off, the firing of Clay Clevenger a few years ago for.
I don't know why.
It was some people didn't get along, so they moved on. It's been an uphill climb ever since. Danville's top players no longer go to the school. They not just only go to the school across town. They're going to the county. I mean, listen, kids got to do what's best for the kids, especially if. And listen, I'm gonna lead after I make this comment. I'm going to positive flip it for Danville. But when the people in charge aren't making the right decisions that benefit everybody else, people have to do what they got to do. And we're a kids first media company, so we always support the kids first and whatever.
Exactly right. Mm-hmm.
But now I will tell you this: Danville has got a middle school group that is beating everybody in this area 50-0, 40-0. They've got a pretty good group. If things can hold on. And they get some things in order, they're going to be okay in a couple of years. There's some things that need to happen, but they do have some kids coming up that are solid.
They need to get departures. They need to get a veteran coach in there with experience, somebody that's been around the block a long time, knows what they're doing, to get Danville back on the same page with this middle school group. Because if you don't, they'll just be same old.
Danville's a different animal. So Danville's a different animal. Like, not only do you have to have, Coach Parks. I've only met him a couple times. We pass words. We just, hey, how you doing? But you got to have not only is it important to have the right leadership in there, and this ain't against Coach Parks. This is just me you got to have someone that connects to the community too. Okay. Yeah. You can't just bring anybody in. There's a lot of great coaches that would never fit in because you have to connect to the community. There's a lot to it, so
I know.
Danville football. So
yeah, I know. We talk about I'm sitting here, I'm going, we're almost Danville. I think if I'm correct, you'll correct me. They've lost 15 straight games.
It's unbelievable for them.
And then, they've only scored 13 points this year. They scored 6 in the opener, 7 in the second. And the last 4, they scored a point.
Yeah, I saw one of them. I got to see them score 6 against Pulaski County.
Well, if you see it, you better take a picture because this. And I'm sad about that because it really. We're used to seeing Danville's moving to a new district next year. So with the new, I think you're going to be the same district with Somerset. Actually, Somerset, and I can't remember the other 2, LCA, and who's the 4th team of that district? I can't remember.
Think about this. Who's Somerset's coach?
Clevenger. And he gets to play against his own team next year. Oh yeah, that'll be fun. He gets to play against them 2 weeks here. He gets to play against them.
He played them last year too, and it's kind of one of those things. And there's a lot of people in that community in Danville that still love Clay Clevenger.
Oh yeah, I know. Listen, people should have kept their hands like this, kept their mouth shut. He's still been there, and Danville would have been Danville. But listen, like you said, when you got people that are not happy. Yeah. That's what happens. That's why you see good coaches leave, and then that's why you see good coaches go other places.
And when you got power, man, sometimes people abuse it the wrong way. So,
you eventually and it's sad, but you see you shouldn't see good coaches get sent to the wayside because they can't get along with certain people in the area.
Look at Wayne County basketball coach. Legend.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, that was awful. I was
very
way
controversial. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you just never can tell. That's why coaches keep their circles so small. Like people, and like really, you pay attention. Really good coaches, they'll talk to you, but their inner trust circle is very, very small, and it's usually not too many people within the community. It's one of my, Jeff Jackson, Lincoln County basketball coach. He mentored me for 2 or 3 years I was on the support staff, and I learned from him real quick. Like his circle is really small, and then when you're out,
you're exactly right. I've learned that just in the last little while.
Listen, I've been helping Prairie Central basketball the past 2 years. I keep their book and stuff, and I know one thing: what we say in the locker room stays in the locker room. Yeah. Nobody else is going to know what we're doing in there. Nobody else is going to knows what's going to be going on. So we're a tight knit group, and I understand what you're talking about. Yes, I know that very much.
Yeah, I've learned firsthand just recently. Some they don't talk much.
No, they ain't gonna talk much either. If it's tough times, we're keeping lips closed. But if we're winning big, we're gonna talk a lot.
I guess, guys, it's best to be that.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what's helped us a lot in our media platform and what we go by. It's not my job to figure out what's wrong, okay? Mm-hmm. It's my job to highlight what each team is doing right and to promote those kids. When you start trying to figure out what this coach is doing wrong or that's when they lose trust in you, and then that's when they don't talk to you at all no more. I always build the trust, and there's conversations I have with coaches every week that will never, ever, ever make it on screen or in a tweet or something like that. So we really focused a lot on how can we build, not how can we take a brick out. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, big time. I know what you're talking about. Kenny, this has been great. Oh God, I could spend 2 hours with you. I want you to come back. I need you to come back. I definitely would want you to come back. Definitely want you to come back before basketball season. Yeah. Because I want to break down the 12th region girls and boys.
Yeah,
teams.
Sport anyway. That's the sport I know the most.
I want to bring you back. Actually, I would like to, if you want to do it, I'd like to have you as a co-host one night. We can bring you on here for 2 hours. Let you talk a lot of 12th region sports. or basketball and maybe football. Well, I'd like to do it right when basketball is right when they're starting scrimmaging. Then you'll be able to tell us a whole lot about. I'm starting to do a lot of digging right now on basketball. I'm starting to get my teams ready and starting to look at. I know a lot about the 13, 14, 15, so I don't have to really dig a whole lot there. I do. I try to do 12th region basketball too, so I do have to dig a little harder because I don't know I know some teams over there. There's some great coaches over there too, but I definitely want you to come back, and I definitely want you to be my co-host one night so we can talk a lot of 12th region basketball.
Sounds good. I'm here. Hey, listen, if there's one thing I do really good, it's talk.
That's usually me too. Sometimes talk too much.
For that little indie promotion, so I know how to talk. That's how you. They joke with me all the time. Talk. I'm good at shaking hands and kissing babies. So.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Kitty, thank you so much, very much. I'll be hollering at you very soon.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good day.
Okay, you have a good one too.
Hey, go
Thank you.
You have a good evening.
I see that. They got a big win today too. See you later.
See you.
All right, Kitty G from the 12th Region Network. We're gonna bring him back later in the season. Standing here, he's got a real. He can give us a good look inside the 12th Region.
I agree.
Now joining me is the new head football coach of the Morehead State Eagles, Mr. Jason Woodman. Coach, thank you so much for being with me. It is an honor. I am a big fan of your athletic director, Mr. Charlie Wells. He's a great guy. I'm just going to simply tell you that. He's a great guy. I love chatting with him. I love it when he tells me about Morehead State activities going on and everything. And I told him I just had to have you on the show so we could talk about your football team and give everybody an insight because this is your first season and you got a big win yesterday in conference on the road. Gotta be excited and let's talk about the team, Coach. I'm excited for you. Okay, tell everybody where you're from, where you started, and then that'll give us an idea of how you coming here at Morehead State.
Okay. I'm originally from West Virginia. I grew up, born and raised there, and
A Mountaineer.
a Mountaineer. That's right. Yeah. The last 11 years, I was the head coach at Fairmont State University, which is in Fairmont, West Virginia. It's about 5 miles from my home where I grew up. And in January, I was able to get this job here, and we've been here ever since.
Made a great hire. I told Kelly that last week. I said I don't know him very well, but I'm going to learn a lot about him when we interview him. And I can already tell you're just a gentleman man. I can tell your kids probably love you to death because you're a different pace. I mean, the coach they had before, he was a great guy. But sometimes you have to have a different pace of coaching sometimes. And, kids respond differently to different coaches.
Yeah, I think so too. I think, it's harder and harder to coach these guys nowadays with the way that the game's changing. I think there's so many, when I first started coaching, it was, you could pretty much get them to run through a wall or, climb a telephone pole if you just asked them to. And now it's more about them. You have to tell them why doing what you ask them to do is going to make them better and how it's going to help them, more than it really helps the team anymore. So I think the dynamics of coaching college football have changed a ton. And you have to learn to relate to the guys. And I think, everybody's always said that the players got to know that you care about them before they care about doing what you're asking them to do. And that's probably more evident today than it's ever been. You have to let the guys know that you're genuine, make sure you're honest with them. I think honesty goes a long way. And I tell them up front, listen, I'm going to tell you the truth. Sometimes you're going to like it, sometimes you're not, but I'm going to always be honest with you. And if you can be honest with them, I think they'll play hard and they'll respect you in the end.
Exactly right there. I was going to say that. Took the words right out of my mouth, Coach.
Yeah. Yeah, but, I was lucky, though. I have a good group of guys. When we got here in January, it was amazing to kind of just see how open they were to us as a staff, especially me as a coach. And they've been through a lot, especially the seniors and the guys who've been here. and we're trying our butts off just to send the seniors out with a successful season. And they work hard, and if they work hard and they'll do what you ask them to do, there's nothing else you really can ask for.
Yeah. Taylor Hessenberg talks highly of you. He's one of my great friends. I think his dad, big around Morehead State University. They said it was when they hired you, he said that was a great hire because they needed a young, energetic coach. Somebody was going to grab the bulls by the horn, so say. And you've done that so far. But you've got a young football team, coach. You're not. It's hard to really say in the way that you got the transfer portal and I can't even say that other word and with people coming and going.
Right.
You just don't know from year to year how strong your roster is going to be because you do know the kids you recruit. They're going to stay with you probably 3-4 years, unless they're really so special that they get that they're ready for the NFL.
Right.
But this team right here had, as if I've done my homework right, had several returning starters back last year. So there was some experience here, but then you add a few pieces here and there that you added. And I looked at your record. You're 3-2. You got to be pretty happy with that because you played 2 Division I schools in Western Kentucky and Eastern Kentucky. And then you played Central State, and then, of course, you played Valparaiso yesterday, got a big win on the road. Talk about your team's experience because there's some there, but I think it's starting to grow more.
Yeah, I think so. We had around 20 seniors coming back, and a lot of those guys had played a lot of football. And we were able to bring in about 45 new guys, and we think a lot of those guys were big additions to the pieces of the puzzle that were already here. So you're seeing a little bit of a mix. We have up front, we have a couple of seniors that are playing a lot of football offensively, and Carter Craven's come back this past week as their starting quarterback who's played a lot, and we have some receivers that are seniors. And then defensively, we have a good core group. A lot of those guys are seniors, but we added some parts and some pieces to it, and especially in the secondary, I think it's been good additions. And again, with the kids who are here, with the guys that were here in January, adding these new guys, it's been fairly easy because they bought into everything we're doing. So when you have that kind of in your back pocket, you can add as many pieces as you think you need, as long as you keep that core and the integrity there of the team. And we've been able to do that so far.
You're in a tough conference. It's not an issue. I mean, I still don't understand why you have to travel some places 5-6 hours because some of the schools in your conference are way out there in the western part of the atmosphere. You played Valparaiso yesterday, got a 17-5 win. Yeah. You held them to a 3-run homer and a 2-run homer.
Yeah. I was getting texts from my buddies back in West Virginia. They said, you guys playing baseball or football down there?
Coach, was that you all that went out west to like Montana or somewhere?
Yeah, we went to Montana. Would have been 3 weeks ago now. Again, taking on a top 5 Division I team. That was an experience in itself, but it was a good experience for our kids. I think we didn't play very well, and we didn't like the scoreboard, but just getting out that way and kind of seeing firsthand what the best in the nation is supposed to look like. I think it's something that they enjoyed and an experience they won't forget. But, we got a long way to go as far as building our program, and we know that. We just want to get better each week. We want to send these seniors out the right way. Kind of, like I said before, they've been through a lot of stuff here, and it's important for us to kind of, do what we can immediately to make them successful, and then we'll start worrying about building a program as that goes.
Coach, I'm sorry, tell us about the remainder of your schedule.
Yeah, well, we just started Pioneer League play, and that was Valparaiso. So the last 7 games are going to be in conference, and
is that many team in the conference?
Yeah, there's actually more. We just don't play all of them every year. So the schedule we have this year is actually one of the tougher ones. We have 4 of the top teams in the conference on our schedule, and in Butler, Drake, San Diego, and Davidson are probably the 4 top dogs right now, and it'll be
wow.
San Diego, yeah.
You only got, but only one of those are a home game. San Diego, the other 3 got to go to their
San
place.
Diego's a home game, right? Yeah. So We got to
And
go on the
maybe
road.
they'll be jet lagged and tired when you play them and you can beat them.
Yeah, we hope so,
I mean,
right?
that's a long ways. My
Yeah, yeah.
goodness.
So
I thought Montana was a long ways.
yeah, yeah. No, it's a challenging conference for sure. I think the parity's there for most of the teams, but there's a couple teams that have, a tradition and history of being good every week, and you got to play when you play those
And, and
teams.
and yeah, just think of the cost, that you're out to go those trips to like Montana, and then
Right.
if you had to go to San Diego, my
Well,
goodness.
I'm glad you brought that up, Sandra, because my question goes back to why he played Montana, why he played Western Kentucky, why he played Eastern Kentucky, because it helps out their program.
Right.
They're going to pay him a pretty penny to come play that game.
Right.
Yeah.
Your team's going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get a lot of money out of the deal, and it's going to help the school. And you see, I know these things because me and Kelly, we talk about this all the time. I always tell you always wonder why schools play these. You always see Kentucky play Ohio. Why would you play Ohio? Well, you're paying Ohio probably a good sum to come play at Commonwealth.
Yeah.
And you're only going to play them every 5 years. You're never going to Ohio. You're going to have them, but you're going to pay certain people to come play you. And that money really comes in handy. And I know how important it is because other programs depend on what the big three sports do: football, basketball, and baseball, because they're the revenue in sports. The other sports today do get revenue, but they also get help from you guys doing games like that right there.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And you're not supposed to win those games. Like, honestly, like nobody in America thought we were going to go out and beat Montana, but we get an opportunity to go and take a shot at beating them. So, we're going to go out to places like that, and we're going to throw everything we have at them. We're going to throw, haymakers for 4 quarters, and never know. We may go in there and knock somebody off eventually. We're not supposed to, and get money for it, on the back end as well. So we're not opposed to those games. I think it's a good, it's a good opportunity, obviously. But then, it's experience. But there's always that. Hey, let's go in there and do what we have to do, and let's throw everything we got at them. Let's go knock somebody off once.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And this year has been the craziest college football season I have ever seen in my life. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you from week to week who the best team is. Yeah. I not a Division I, Division II, Division 7, whatever, how many divisions they are, even NAIA. I can't tell you who the best team is right now because I can't tell you from week to week who's going to be healthy, what team frame they're going to have, or how they're going to play, and how their schedule was when they were playing certain teams. Like, I'm going to use Kentucky for yesterday. You can't find, there was probably only about 10% of people in this state thought we could beat Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Right.
But you look at Ole Miss's schedule, they didn't play anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Kentucky had at least played Georgia and South Carolina. I'm not going to keep harping on the South Carolina game because everybody else keeps harping about it. Says, well, that's still a bad loss. You go beat Ole. No, listen. South Carolina's not a bad football team.
No.
Kentucky
Steve said that they just played foolish ball against
their opponent they've got coming up here after the bye. They play Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's not a bad football team, folks.
There's not a bad football team in the SEC. No matter what anybody says, there's none of those games are easy games. You can lose any week.
And like your conference, Butler. Butler, good. Presbyterian. Traditionally, you've beaten them, but they come into your place. I mean, Dayton, good. St. Thomas, good. Davison, good. Drake, and then San Diego. This is not an easy schedule. This is, but you don't know from week to week how your team's going to perform on the field because Drake might come into your game being ranked top 25. You might beat them,
right? And
you go into Drake. That would be a huge win.
Yeah. Yep. You look at the game last night. Alabama looked like number 1 team in the country for a half. Then you go to the second half, and who knows what happens? Georgia's right there with them, scoring points. So, like you said, it's anybody's game at any point.
Yeah, and it's been that way all year. You look at I look at the whole win streak, not win streak, but the whole thing of football this year. I can't. I know they've got a top 25, but I don't believe it. I don't think there's 25 good teams out there.
Yeah.
I believe there's 50, 60, 70 good teams. On any given night, you could be beaten. You know, like right now, look at Florida State. They're 1-4.
Yeah.
He got beat last night by a BYU team who nobody's going to give any respect to. I've seen 3 straight weeks now that BYU's been underdogs on all 3 opponents, have won all 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
you never know.
Oh, it's crazy.
A lot of parity.
Yeah, parity.
Especially
that
this year.
Portal. Yep, the portal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Coach, have you had your homecoming game yet?
No, we have it October the 12th, I believe.
Okay, that's a big day.
Yes.
October 12th is because who's that against? Let me find
Presbyterian.
It Presbyterian. It's a big day. Kelly was telling me that there's going to be some major announcements made sometime during the game and stuff. There's going to be some stuff mentioning. He said that if any one game that a Morehead State person probably need to be there, this is the game. And homecoming's a big deal anyway for the Morehead State students and athletes and stuff. But as you head into your conference, you already got that one game under your belt. You got to feel good because being 1-0 in the conference instead of being 0-1, very important.
Oh yeah, especially get off to a good start in the conference, and I mean each week's important. You have to win them all, but to be at home and we handled the weather really well yesterday too. And usually a team that's changing coaching staffs or have a little bit of inexperience with the staff, you get in that situation, things can get bad or they don't handle it well. And our guys handled it really well, and we played really well. And defensively, we were lights out. And I thought that my first look at the league, I've watched film on them, and I try to gauge things, but to see teams up close and for our guys to play as well as they did, I thought it was awesome.
Yeah,
to get a road win, that is,
especially on the road. Exactly, that was a home game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was home. Yeah, it was.
That's what I thought. It was a good home win. Good home win for your team, though. Good win. The more the comfortable you get, the better it'll be for you. You'll be able to make your own schedule next year. You'll be able to put a team or two on the schedule that you maybe have a friend or two that you want to play or something like that. You got a connection too. Plus, you've also got a couple games that you'll have to play because they're going to pay you a pretty good penny to come play them.
Right.
But what is your goal for this Morehead State University team? You would love to get in the playoffs. I know that's your main goal. If you can get into playoffs, and anything can happen from that point.
Right.
What's the goal for the Morehead State Eagle football team?
For us, it's just to get better each week. We don't really look ahead. We're not in a position yet that we can worry about anything else but us and getting our guys better. And we're always going to say, hey, we're trying to get better every day. And that's been our goal. It's been my goal since I was a head coach, since I started being a head coach almost 12 years ago. It's just we want to worry about every day doing our job. And if we can get better, I would tell the guys all the time, if you practice your butt off Monday through Friday, Saturdays are a little bit easier. And we got to be prepared each day. And the thing with a new program is getting the players and the people around the program to understand the standard and the expectations that you have as a coaching staff. And a lot of people ask me, well, what's your what do you guys, what's your goal? My goal is to get the guys to understand what we're asking them to do and getting them to do it every single day, and then having the people around the program to kind of be on board and understand what our outlook is. And we're not going to be really outcome oriented yet. We're still trying to build a process, or trying to go through the process of building a program. So for us, we look at every single day. We try to get better every single day. And if we do that, we know at the end everything's going to be good. But until we get to that point, it's still nothing's going to change. It's we're thinking about practicing on Tuesday. How are we going to get better on Tuesday? And we're not even talking about Saturday yet. So it's just going to be one day at a time.
Yeah. You're sort of in the same shoes as your new basketball coach is. Your men's basketball coach. He's brand new. Yeah. And he's good. I hope we'll get an opportunity to interview him too as well later down the road. But I know for both of you, a new beginning, and it has to be a little strange because anytime you start something new, you have to adjust to what's around you and how you're going to approach it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Johnny's a great dude, man. I I don't have a great relationship with him yet. He's only been here for a couple months, but I thought Preston did a tremendous
No,
job when he was here. He left, the program in a really good situation. And I think Johnny's going to do a phenomenal job too. But yeah, it's always difficult when you start something new, and you got to kind of get through the old and try to change the mindset of a lot of different things. And kind of, you have to work to get everybody to have the same expectations and the same mindset as you do. And we know that takes time. You got to get the players to trust you on the field and off the field. And nowadays, again, that takes time too. And, everything in college sports, nothing is comfortable with taking time. And as the coaching staff, we want to win right now. As players, they want to play right now. They want to win right now. So it's definitely a marathon that you have to be ready for. It's not a sprint. We're not sprinting to the finish line. We know it takes time. And that's the hard part, is getting everybody to understand that. And as a coach, remembering that. There's days where, we on Friday we were practicing, and we weren't having a great day, but it wasn't terrible. But we're in the middle of practice. I grabbed my receivers coach. I'm like, hey, listen, you remember when we first got here? You remember the first practice we had? I'm like, we've gotten so much better, and that was in April. So it's hard to remember that, and just like the rest of the world, everybody wants results now. But that's part of building a program, and that's the hard thing. Being a new coach and being in a new program, it takes a little bit of time.
You got to get the culture just right.
Correct, and culture doesn't happen overnight. That's the thing. It's
fans need to have some patience.
well, yeah, they do. It's my wife's the same. She's the biggest fan I got, but she wants to know, hey, how come so and so misses the block? Like, because we've only been practicing for 2 months. Like, but yeah, it's just the world. It's just the way it works, and people like winners, and they want to be part of a winning program. So it happens.
When your wife's telling you, they go, how did Joe Schmo miss that block? Well, it's like, oh my, what?
Yeah, what she's asking, why so and so just standing around? Because he's supposed to be. Like, what do you mean? I don't know.
You never know. You're gonna look there one time. She'll be over there with clipboard and stuff.
Oh she would. Yeah, and she probably know what she's talking about too. So.
Oh Lord, Coach.
They can sometimes see a different aspect.
Oh yeah. My wife, she picks out things. I'm like, really? I didn't pay attention to that. And I'll go back and I'm like, yeah, you're right. It's just sometimes you're blind to some things. And
now I know why Nick Saban was so successful with Miss Terry. Because
yes, that's for sure. Yeah.
Well, Coach, this has been an absolute honor. Would you come back again someday?
Absolutely.
I would love to have you come back again. I think there's nothing but great stuff on the horizon for Morehead State University. And I've told Kelly this. You got a perfect director, athletic director. You got great coaches. You got good kids there. You guys are just doing it right. And I always Morehead State University. I still want to come to a game someday. I told him, I said, I'd love to come to one football game and maybe a basketball game or two. But, someday I'll get there. But, I think there's nothing but good stuff on the horizon for you, Coach.
Yeah, we think so too. We're excited. And like you said, we'll be patient. We'll build this thing the right way. It may take a little bit of time, but we know good things are coming. So,
well, Coach,
I agree 100%.
Best wishes to you the remainder of the year.
All right, guys. Yes. Thank you. Hey, CJ, listen, homecoming's coming. Let me know. You want to come down? We'll have you.
Okay. We'll remind everybody they do play Saturday at Butler. If you want to make the trip down there, it's a 1:00 game, and I guess they would know how to watch it if they can't be there live.
ESPN Plus. Yep.
Yes.
Every game. ESPN Plus. Yes, sir.
That's good.
Coach, God bless you, and we will talk to you later.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah, we go. Coach Jason Woodman of the Morehead State University football team.
Good interview there.
Great guy. They got the perfect person coaching their football team. I can already tell. He's just going to be a super addition for them.
Now, CJ is the head coach at Morehead. Weren't he an assistant there once before?
No. I think he's always been out west. He looked familiar. He looked like one of the former assistants used to be there, but that's a different guy.
thinking I read somewhere that he had.
But that could have been. I could be wrong though. I've been wrong before. I've been wrong many times. Let's see. We went over that schedule. Let's go over the scoreboard from last week because it was just wild. I mean, we had games moved from. We had games Thursday. We had games Friday. We had games Saturday. We got a game tomorrow night. We had one today. PRP and Mayo, I think it was, played today because they couldn't get their game in. So, but this is the scores from Friday, Saturday, and from Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Now, Leslie County beat Paintsville 26-20. In this game, Landry Collett Jr., their quarterback. Now, I know I'm going to get corrected on this, and I think I'm pretty close. But the game-winning touchdown was a 99-yard pass. They were in their end zone. From the video I saw, they were in the end zone.
Wow.
He throwed it about 40 yards. And the big receiver for them caught it, and I think he went 99 yards. Now, I could be wrong on that. People will correct me in the days to come, but that was the game winner. They win 26-20 yesterday over Paintsville. Prairie Central gets the 31-14.
Since Kilburn went down, Simpson's been his favorite
target. Stepped up huge. Big, he's the one that caught the pass. Prairie Central got a huge win.
I'm sorry. I was impressed the week before when they played Clay County, and he drove down the field. Collett did, and put that. They got about a 40-yard touchdown pass that time, but then what happened that they got the PAT blocked and lost. But that was some kind of series of plays right there.
Yeah, big time. Prairie Central got the win in the ARH Bowl as they beat Martin County 31-14. This game hinged on 3 Martin County turnovers in the first half. I was there. I watched it. It was a good ball game. Prairie Central played well. They did have their running back, number 40, get hurt. He did come back to the sideline. He did have his ankle taped. Will he play? They're off this week, so he'll have a chance to heal up before they get ready for their matchup. I believe they play they're off this week. I believe they play Letcher Central in 2 weeks, which is a monster game for both teams because it's for a home playoff game, probably. Not count Whitley out because Whitley's still a really good football team. Corbin beat Hazard 51-28. This was a 22-17 game at the half. Corbin broke it wide open in the second half. But you got to give Hazard credit. They really came to play. And the Bulldogs are just improving each and every week. Johnson Central yesterday beat Boyd County, a good, solid Boyd County team, 42-14. Now, this game was close at halftime, and Johnson Central exploded in the second half. Belfry gets a
impressive.
Yeah, though Corbin Johnson Central this week. It's going to be a slobber knocker. Belfry shut out McGoffin 41-0. It was Bell County over McCreary Central 50-28. It was Rockcastle County 14, Clay County 0. When you go to Manchester and you shut the Tigers out, I know I already know Rockcastle was for them anyway, but that just showed me more.
Clay's got a good ground game too.
They're really good. Southwestern 23, North Laurel 14. Lawrence County 19, Estill County 18. This game was I think a little more closer to what a lot of people thought. I think a lot of people thought Estill was going to go, Lawrence County was going to go down there and just run all over them. Now, I think Estill might have been looking ahead to this week's game with Belfry because they know how they it's very important. We'll talk with Coach McPeek, then we'll go over the scoreboard a little more later. With me now is the head football coach for the Frederick Broncos, Mr. Nathan McPeek. Coach, it's great to have you back, and congratulations to you. You was telling me in the message that you were inducted into the Hall of Fame yesterday. First of all, tell me about that, then tell me about your Bronco team.
Well, first off, thanks for having me again. I appreciate it, and enjoy listening to your show. And you guys do a good job for all the high school athletes. But yeah, it was Definitely a special weekend for me. It was God working in a great way because we had a bye week this week. So I was able to be part of the Hall of Fame Marshall induction on Friday night at the banquet because we did not play on Friday. And then on Saturday, we, had a great day. They were able to beat Western Michigan on Saturday and got inducted in front of the crowd after the first quarter. There was 9 inductees, for the overall Hall of Fame and for all the athletics, and very honored and blessed. Looking back at my career, it brings back a lot of great memories. And one of the more special things was our booster club at Douglas surprised me and brought a charter bus full of our players up to the game.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's about 50 players that were able to come watch that on Saturday, and that was really special. That meant that much to them to do that for me. Because I had no idea. They bought T-shirts for them and had my picture on them, and it was really cool. I'm not a super emotional guy, but that got me a little bit. That's for sure.
Oh, I had to, Coach. I mean, and that just tells you that when you're coaching a group of kids that does that for you, they're nothing but special. And I mean, you have to be that's just a moment that you'll never forget.
No, that's for sure. And I wanted to enjoy it. This weekend. Like I said, it was worked out where we had a bye week, and there's not, I think somebody messaged me the other day that, under 1% of college athletes make their Hall of Fames at their universities. So when you think of it in that term, that's you're in kind of rare company. I'm very, like I said, very blessed and humbled, and, coaches and teammates that helped me get to this point. That's for sure.
I would have cried, Coach, if I'd saw that. If I'd have been in your shoes and I saw those kids coming up there doing that for me, I probably broke it. I would have broken it down because that's just you don't hear that. I mean, that just tells you how special of a group of kids that you got and how special the kids are at Frederick Douglass because that's a big school. I don't know what your enrollment's over 1,000, probably about 1,300. Is that right?
We're at 1810 this year.
1810, that's a lot of students.
Yeah, and we're actually one of the smallest Fayette County high schools. So most of the other ones are over 2,000 just because Lexington's getting so, it's spreading outward. Obviously we're a newer school in the Hamburg area, but I think they'll have to build another high school within the next decade the way it's growing.
That's what I'm hearing. I hear they were having the plans of building 2 more schools. Is what I'd heard if they could get the land for it. I know they wanted to build 2 more high schools and 1 more middle school.
I live on the north side of town in the Mastering Station area, and they're building already. They're wanting to do a middle school, another one over here, and then another elementary. Just because everything's spreading outward toward Georgetown.
Yeah, and Frederick Douglass. A lot of people know this they got a really great basketball team coming up this year. Probably going to be rated number 1 in the state, and probably going to be rated in the top 25 of the nation. I think because they got 3 Division I kids on the team. But just like your football team, Coach, you've got several kids that are very special. You got some really good athletes. You've got 2 kids that are listen. You got a big win the other night. You won some big games. You played a tough schedule. I know you're going to play a tough schedule. I told somebody a few minutes ago when we looked at your schedule, I said probably 8 of the 10 games is against teams that are either ranked high or has been ranked high or are 6A school. You and Corbin's become a really good game in the past 3 to 4 years you guys have played, and I hope that rivalry continues. And then you're playing Male and Trinity because you want to be better when it gets playoff time, and you're probably going to end up playing them anyway. So if you play them ahead of time, you know what to do when you play them the second time. And then of course your district, of course, with Madison Central, Bryan Station, George Rogers Clark. And then you end the season with a Boyle County team who everybody, the past couple of years, they've gotten you but I know your kids will be ready for this challenge because this it would be nothing more than to go down there and get a huge win on the road in week 10.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great teams on our schedule, and that's, twofold. I think number one, to be in our 8th year of existence and having to play those teams is a credit to a lot of, the success that we've had with a lot of the players and the coaches that have built this thing. But, obviously we're limited on who we can play as well. We're not, for the most part, we're not going to play single A, double A, or triple. So we got to play, we're playing really the top 2 4A teams with Boyle and Corbin. We already played Bowling Green week 1 at Western Kentucky, which obviously they're the favorite to win 5A. And then, pretty much anybody that could win 6A, we're playing, in my opinion. And I think 6A is more wide open than it ever has been.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. Especially with X beating Trinity Friday night. That was a big win for them.
Yeah, and we scrimmaged St. X, and Coach Wallace does a good job. Obviously, we lost to Trinity. We had 4 turnovers in that game, and then we had 3 or 4 turnovers against Manual. We had to go to Manual and play. Those are 2 losses, and obviously we didn't want to lose those games. But I think it kind of has hardened us a little bit. Going into this male game this week, it's a big one. Even though we're 3-2, we're number 3 in RPI, so we got everything ahead of us. If we went out and win the games that we're supposed to, I think we'll be 1 or 2 in the RPI. And, hopefully teams got to come to us and play in the playoffs. So, everything's ahead of us, moving forward. And we got a big game this week against a heck of an opponent with Louisville Male. And, we beat them in the region last year, 21-20. It was a great game down at their place. They have a lot of really good athletes like us, and they're very well coached. So there'll be a lot of Division I guys on the field on Friday night, that's for sure.
On both sides of the football. Yeah.
Yeah.
Coach, talk about – oh, okay. Go ahead, Sandra. I got another question.
I was going to ask, how many other Lexington schools do you usually schedule per year?
Well, we used to have a bylaw where everybody had to play the other high schools. So we were the 6th public high school in 2017. So with those, there was a bylaw in our county where we had to schedule all those teams, but they have now got rid of that bylaw last year. So it really opened up our schedule to where, we could play a lot of these big time matchups. According to the polls, polls are what they are, kind of coach speak. But I think we're playing in our 8 of 10 games, we're playing top 15 teams, 8 of the 10. So we don't have any easy ones. But that's really opened up.
Sounds like you don't.
No. And to be honest with you, there's some schools in Fayette County that, are really struggling right now, just to be honest. And we don't get a whole lot out of that, and I mean that humbly. It's just, it's better for us to play an elite school and get better that way, win, lose, or draw.
You talk about your non-district schedule is about perfect, Coach. You're playing everybody that you need to play. They're getting you better. They're getting you prepared for the playoffs. You're going to come into the game 3-2. Talk about a couple of your kids, because I know you got a lot of great kids. Talk about your seniors and talk about how far you have come, because I know that we talked about you graduate one group of seniors and you get another big group. But it's just like we always say about certain schools, you guys in Boyle County and Male and Trinity and all those big schools, you guys don't rebuild, you just reload. So talk about some of your kids and seniors.
Yeah, one thing I take pride in as the head coach is try to be consistent. We're not, with the schedule we play, it's going to be hard to be 15-0. I know that, and our coaches know that. But that's not the ultimate goal. Yeah, you want to win every game, but you want to get yourself to where you're playing your best football in November. And that, in my opinion, comes by who you're playing throughout the regular season. And, when I made this schedule, I knew that, I really didn't know. I thought we could be 5-5, 8-2, 9-1. Obviously, we want to be 10-0, but, it just depends on each week and how well you play those games. But Avion Chenault is having a really good senior year. He's committed to Western Michigan, which is who Marshall played yesterday. So I told Avion, he was at the game, and I said, I can't root for Western Michigan today. I'm sorry. But he's playing. I think he's got 13 or 14 touchdowns right now at receiver.
Oh,
He's had 3 or 4 punt returns called back, so he should have 16 or 17 touchdowns, which would definitely lead, be up there leading the state. He's an elite punt returner, obviously an elite receiver, and he's a guy we want to get the ball to. Defensively, Logan Buson's having a really good year. He's a 3-year starter for us. He's committed to Bucknell. He's got a 4.6 GPA, because he takes a lot of weighted, GPA higher ed classes. Obviously, Bucknell.
that's great.
Yeah, kind of like, Ivy League type. It's a Patriot League, but you got to have really good grades to get in Bucknell. So he's having a really good year for us, super smart football player. We have really good running backs. We rotate guys. We have 4 that we really like. So we rotate those guys quite a bit. So stats has never been a huge part of our program, just because we got to share the ball. And it hadn't hurt our guys in getting scholarships and recruiting. We had 3 straight Mr. Football Paul Horning Award winners. But we're not a huge stat program. We're not going to have one guy that gets everything. That's just how it is. And our kids kind of understand that going into each year, that we're going to do whatever we have to do to win. But we have 30 seniors. We have a big class. They've been through the fire. So hopefully we can continue getting better, and that starts this week against a good male team.
Explain to people about your younger kids, because some of them you don't really have to put out there as quickly as you would want to. They get an opportunity to watch and learn, and then when it's their turn to play, they're able to be put in there and do the things that you need them to do. But you guys, I was talking with Coach Johnson from Dunbar, and he was telling me about some of the schools out there in Lexington, how they have a freshman league and a JV sophomore freshman only league. And I was telling people what a great idea. I love that idea. You guys out in Central Kentucky, you can do that because you've got enrollments of over 1,500. So, you can do stuff like that. Mountain teams will have a hard time trying to fill. They have a hard time filling freshman teams because you don't get a lot of freshmen. But how important is that? How important is those leagues like that for your young kids? And how important is it for those kids to learn and not participate as much in varsity? Because you might have 1 or 2 freshmen or sophomores that you like and you want to play them in varsity. But most of those kids legitimately probably not going to get a lot of varsity moments because you got 30 seniors and probably 25 juniors. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, we play 3 levels of football at Douglas. In my opinion, I don't think, you can compete with the St. X's and the Trinities unless you have 3 levels of football. So we have a JV team, and we have a freshman team. Now, we will play a few freshmen on the JV team just to get some reps and experience and just for depth purposes. But it makes scheduling pretty hard because we're not part of that Frostmore league that you're talking about, simply because we have 3 levels of football. So we just play JV on Monday, then we either play, we independent and I independent schedule our freshmen. So, our freshman team plays Boyle, they play St. X, they play Trinity, and it's tough. Our freshmen aren't used to playing it, against that type of competition here in Fayette County. Because right now, like freshman team, we're 0-3, but they've played 3 really, really good teams. They've been in every game. So, we want to teach winning, and that's the ultimate goal, but it's also a process for those guys. And I don't want to put a young kid in a situation where they got to play 6A football against the elite of the elite in the state of Kentucky if they're not physically ready to do that. It's not fair to the kid. So I want to make sure.
That experience, coach, ought to make them better down the road.
Yes, and that's the goal. They got to get used to playing those teams. And, and I'm not an excuse guy, but we don't have a Catholic league of a youth league where those guys play in 6th, 7th, 8th grade through. We get a lot of mixture of different middle school kids that come in as 9th graders at Douglas. Some kids know how to block and tackle. Some kids don't. Some kids just run around and don't understand football. So, it's a huge process for our freshman staff and me and us to kind of figure out that freshman year kind of where they are, because we're a 2-platoon system at Douglas. By the time they get to 10th grade, we want them to play one side of the ball predominantly. It doesn't mean that some guys won't flip over and do some things on one side of the ball. Like Ty Bryant did that for us that's playing at UK. He'd come over and play some running back just because he could handle it. But I'm a big believer with our numbers, because we're over 100 players. That a 2-platoon system is what's best for us to try to win a state championship. So that starts with your younger kids and getting them developed in the weight room and understanding just how football works.
I agree 100%, Coach. And we talked about that last year. But, I thought when Coach Johnson was telling me about the freshman league and JV league in Lexington, I said, that's a great idea, Coach, because I think it's going to help your younger kids down the road. It's going to make them want to participate and play harder if they're playing for something. Sometimes when you put them out, your JV team is supposed to be your feeder team to get you ready for varsity in the years to come. Some don't understand that concept though, because you'll have a JV team, and I know to be able to play JV sometimes you have to play a few juniors that don't play a lot of varsity to be able to field a JV team. And
Sure.
but you prefer to play sophomore and freshman only in JV because those are the kids that need the reps and need to be ready to go when their number is called.
Yeah, for sure. And, like I said, we're a 2-platoon system at Douglas, we get a lot of 2 reps in our practices too. We script our 2 group to get, about 30% of the reps in practice because you need those kids. With the people we're playing, you're going to have injuries. You're going to need depth, and that's just part of it. It's part of playing 6A football and trying to play elite football at the highest level. And, so we do, and I try to do a good job of making sure those guys are getting enough reps in practice to continue getting better.
Coach, do you have any players that are playing on both sides of the ball?
Right now we don't have too many. We have a
That's
guy.
kind of a good thing.
Yeah, we'll have a guy or two that flips over. But like I said, with our numbers, I just believe in that. Because that guy's getting, double the reps if we're not splitting them. So if they're just an offensive lineman,
And that's one of the benefits of a bigger school. You've got more,
yeah,
options than some of these smaller schools like up here in the mountains.
yeah.
A
And
lot of kids up there have played dual roles.
Yeah, and I've coached at a single A school. I was head coach at Fairview for 7 years, and at a smaller school where you have to flip practices, offense one day, defense the next, and there's nothing wrong with that. Boyle County, as dominant as they are, Quisenberry plays running back, wideout, and safety. There's nothing wrong with that, and we have a few guys that can do a little bit of that, but I just believe in a 2-platoon system, and we practice like college football, and the formula has been successful thus far, and we'll make tweaks every now and again, but we believe in what we're doing.
Well, Coach, you're one of my favorite coaches in the central part of the state and stuff. I always love talking to you because I know I'm gonna get a lot of good content out of you, and your team is always ready to play, and that's just because you do such a phenomenal job with them. But again, I want to congratulate you on your Hall of Fame thing yesterday with Marshall. You deserve that, and I know yesterday had to be just so special.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and very humbled that I'm a Hall of Famer, I guess, and that doesn't happen to too many people. And when you go in the Hall of Fame room and they have your name up there, it really hit home yesterday before the game. That they have your name etched up there in the Athletic Hall of Fame forever. And it has your year up there of, 2024 and the years that you played. So, but I appreciate the kind words. We'll keep battling, keep getting better. We're on fall break this week, so we don't have school, and it's a big game against Mail on Friday. So hopefully we can get a good crowd there and have a good atmosphere for the kids.
Yeah. want to remind everybody they play Mail Friday night, 7:30 at Frederick Douglass. So if you're in the area, stop by, check you out a big-time game in 6A football. Coach, again, congratulations on everything going on over there. And we will I'd like for you to come back pretty soon, and we'll talk again.
Yes, sir. Anytime you need, just let me know. And, again, appreciate you guys. You guys have a good night.
Thank you very much. Coach Nate McPeek of the Frederick Douglass Broncos. Yesterday he was in the Hall of Fame there at Marshall University. Jack Demmler is going to join us here in about 10 minutes. But let me finish that scoreboard real quick. Lawrence County, Estill. Jackson County beat Berea. We had 2 Thursday night games. Jackson County beat Berea 46-14. Taylor County gave Wayne County their first loss of the year, 21-15. That was a big district game too. So Taylor County, I think, was like 0, and I think they had one game till the other night. So that's a big win for them. Wow. Letcher Central 41, Breathitt County 18. Surprised by that score. I thought it'd be a little more closer.
I did too. I thought, but I think Breathitt turned the ball over too much the other night, and that cost them.
Middlesboro got back on the winning side as they get a 34-6 win over Lynn Camp. Pike Central destroys Floyd Central 32-14. That I didn't see coming because I thought Pike Central, when I saw them against Prestonsburg in the game of the week, I thought, wow, they're struggling to score. But the big win for the Hawks there as they come back and get a big district win. Undefeated Prestonsburg, 5-0, beats Betsy Lane 38-32 or 39-32 in a game that I think we're going to see again later because I think both of these teams are going to win their district. And I think we're going to see it again. Coach Hines plays his former school. Didn't go very well. Pulaski County defeats South Laurel 49-7. As Coach Hines said last week, it ain't about what we're doing now. It's about what we're going to do in the future. You give Coach Hines 2 or 3 years there at South Laurel, they'll be playing like they were when he was at Pulaski County. So I'm not concerned about that score. Somerset beat Lincoln, as Kenny G told us earlier, 21-3. Then yesterday we had 5 games. Eastridge beat Jenkins 50-6. E-Town beat Shelby Valley 49-44. Shelby Valley's 0-5.
Having a tough year.
Yeah, well, when you lose Russ Osborne, one of the best quarterbacks in the Commonwealth history, and they had some other seniors they lost. They're just having to rebuild, and it's been a tough first start for their head coach. The Battle of 119 went to Harlan as they beat Pineville yesterday, 38-14. Pikeville picked up a game. They beat GRC in a game that was picked up on Friday, 28-7. And Tug, West Virginia beat Morgan County yesterday, 48-6. Some of them scores are surprising, but some of them are not. But as we said, from week to week, you just don't know what you're going to get anymore. I quit trying to figure out who the best team is because I don't know who it is.
It is hard for me to write up my columns about some of them because they're so unpredictable.
I just don't know. I can't tell you.
Like we were talking about Letcher and Breathitt, I thought that game would be closer than it was. But it weren't. It turned out it weren't,
You look at Letcher, who comes out, they play Bell, but they didn't. I know Bell County's a good football team. I thought Letcher would play better against Bell, but they didn't. Bell just outmaneuvered them. We know who some teams are, but then we think, oh, well, I've got that team figured. No, I don't got to figure it out.
When I was drawing up my preview, I looked at the stats, and they looked, really close as far as stat comparisons, and that's what made me think it would be a little closer game than it was.
If you're going to pin me down and tell me that I had to pick some teams that are good, I ain't doing it because I can't tell you who's good. I can't tell you who's good from week to week. Neither the guy over here in the third box. He's the guru of sports. He's supposed to know these teams. He can tell you he don't know them because we don't know nothing. We're in week 6 and we have zero idea who if anybody's any good or not.
I can tell you Corbin is a good team. They had a rough first half against
They did.
Hazard, but
They
they're
did.
good. They're a good team. I think Hazard's a good team. Pikeville is the one team that I really can't figure out.
Mhm.
And it bothers me every week. It bothers me that I can't figure them out.
They have been surprising.
It's just surprising, but one week you think, okay, well, I think this team's really good. Then they go lose a head scratcher. Then the next week they get took to the limit against somebody they shouldn't be getting took to the limit to. So I haven't figured. That's why I can't figure out nobody.
So what are they like?
I look at your top 10 this
like
week.
2 and 4 or something like that, guys.
Yeah, they just picked up their second win of the season against GRC, but GRC,
the GRC is a big team, big school.
Right.
You know what I think these teams should do? Just don't practice. Just pick somebody up on the day before, and then you'll be ready to play. Because I think you prepare all this time. That's why basketball is. Basketball, you don't practice as much as you do because you're practicing maybe 1-2 days a week. If you're going to play 3 to 4 nights a week, and that keeps the basketball people knowing we know who the best teams are.
Yeah.
Yesterday Pikeville was supposed to play Hardin County Friday night, and that would have been an okay game. I think it would be okay for both teams, but you in the situation called for. It was probably better they did play GRC in the long run because it's going to help them down the road. As far as an RPI, that was an RPI go-getter right there. They needed that for the RPI because they were. I've got it right here. They were coming into the week 24th. Okay, well GRC is still highly rated in RPI, so they're going to go up some spots. Not a whole lot, but a few.
They're like a 5A school or 6A?
GRC is
4A.
GR is 6A. Yeah, they're 6A. And GRC coming into the week was, oh, Lord, I can't find them. 19th. They were 19th coming in. So
I will say, I think the RPI equation needs to get changed a little bit. I think there are a lot of problems with RPI.
100%.
There are a lot of coaches that feel that way. I think RPI is something that coaches can easily sort of manipulate to make themselves look better. But it all works out in the postseason. The best teams always make it to Lexington at the end of the day.
Okay, here's your top 10 this week. And this has been like this for the last, since you guys have had a top 10 from, Corbin, 1. Johnson Central, 1. Belfry, 1. Bell, 1. Rock, 1. Whoops. Here we go. 6.
Yeah.
North, lost. Hazard, lost. Clay, lost. Lawrence County, barely won. And then Pulaski County looked, solid win over a decent North Laurel team, who I think is really good, but I can't figure them out from time to time. North, because I know they've had some injuries. I know they're trying to get everybody back, but again, you've had 4 of your 6 teams lose, so now again more scrambling. And I know one thing: I might throw my mouse. Here's my mouse, my computer. If I don't see Prestonsburg in this top 10,
they ought to be.
Look,
I'm not going to say anything, but I'm really impressed with Wesley Hager in his first season as head coach to be undefeated. You can't ask for a better start than that. I'm really interested in their matchup this week against Martin County. Martin coming off of a loss to Perry Central. Devin Maynard is an athlete who is sort of your do-it-all.
Martin County's been one of those teams kind of been up and down.
Yeah. Devin Maynard's been a do-it-all type athlete where it's tough to lock him down. I'm excited for that matchup. That's going to be a good game this week.
Okay, let's break the scoreboard down, then we'll go over the schedule for week 6. Let's go over some of these scores. Games were all over the place. I know you guys couldn't get to all of them because of the adjustments, because of the weather. And again, I do want to say, before we even start to do this, go over the scoreboard, everybody, you need to keep the people in your prayers that were involved in this storm this past week. Everybody from the East Coast to the Central Coast. It was heartbreaking. Please keep them in your prayers. A lot of damage. I have never in my life seen some of the pictures, and I'm an emotional guy, so I couldn't look at some of them because it just tore me to pieces. Especially seeing I-40. There was no I-40.
Right, one side of the interstate gone.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so sad, and we've had so many people we've lost in this storm. Still, some that's not been found. So, I mean, we still got just keep them in your prayers. I've got a list of other prayers. I'm gonna go over. I'll do that at the end of the show. But one other prayer that I do want to get out there to people. Shannon Hoskins, the Prairie Central boys basketball coach, his wife Ashley is off the bench. She is doing better. She's still in the hospital. She will be in the hospital, I think, for a little bit. But they still need your prayers. So please keep Shannon and the kids and the whole family and the Perry County Central School in your thoughts and prayers. And Ashley, please. She's come a long way. And, one other thing. I lost a very dear friend, and so did a lot of people in the community of Perry County. Brooke Kraft, known her for a long time. Her brother played for Knott County in the 90s and 2000s. We lost her awfully sudden this past Friday. Great woman. Great soul. Kindest person you'll ever know. Please pray for her family and friends too. It was just awful sudden, and it's a devastating. It's going to be heartbreaking, and but I want to get them out there real quick. Okay, let's get into the scoreboard real quick here, Jack. Like I said, games all over the place. They were mixed up. Some Friday, some Saturday, some Thursday. Got one tomorrow night. Powell County playing against Fairview tomorrow night. That's because they couldn't play none of the other 4 days. I think Fairview had flooding over there. Did they have some water?
Yeah, it's with all the storms and the impact of Helene making its way. A lot of teams had to move games around. I think we only had one on Thursday. Thursday.
I count Wayne County as a mountain team because we had two. Jackson County and Wayne County both played Thursday night. They were the only two, though.
Yeah.
And then we only had 5 games. In 6 games.
Yeah.
Then we had 6 Saturdays, so it was divided up.
Yeah,
but
it was a crazy weekend.
Oh yeah. Leslie County gets a big win. You guys showed that play last night. I'm going to let you talk about that play in just a moment that Landry Collett did. I think I'm right, but I think it was a 99-yard pass to the wide receiver. Am I correct on that? Is that what it was from the highlight I saw?
I think we had 98. I think what we were told was 98, but it was right at their goal line. He throws it to midfield, and the receiver just runs the rest.
Where does that rank?
That might be school record. That might be school record.
That is school record.
Is what I thought. I don't think Tim Couch never did throw one like that in his 4 years he played. I think the farthest pass Tim threw one, but I think it was like 96 or 95. So I think that was a school record yesterday. But they get the big win on the road over Paintsville.
That kid ought to be getting D1 schools knocking on his door.
I'm hoping that he will. I know his dad really well, went to school with him. We graduated together. He said he's had a couple of schools here and there, but listen, these colleges need to come knocking on his door because he is worth the admission.
He's the real deal.
Yeah,
it's the real deal.
Yeah. Pre-Central, the game of the week, big win over Martin County. But what hurt Martin County in this game? 3 turnovers in the first half. And Prairie Central scored on 2 of them, and they were able to pull away and then put them away in the second half. Big win for Corbin, but Hazard looked really, really good first half. I think Corbin still was a little banged up. They had 5 starters out of this game. They're still going to have some starters out for their huge matchup they've got this week. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. Johnson Central with a huge win yesterday over Boyd County. Boyd County's a pretty good football team, folks. They're not bad at all. Belfry taking care of business 41-0. Bell County gets a 50-0 win over Prairie Central. Rockcastle County, listen, 14-0 at Manchester. That's a huge win for the Rockets, especially when you got Bell County this week coming to Rochester County, and what's one of the bigger games and one of the top 6 games of the week.
And that's a big rivalry too.
Yeah. Southwestern gets a huge win over North Laurel. This was probably for a home playoff game, because I feel like the winner of this week's North-South games, I think somebody's going to have to be Harlan County if they want to get in the playoffs, because somebody's not going to get in. That's a 5-team district, so we'll have to keep our eye on that. And then Lawrence County 19-18 over Estill. I think Lawrence County was looking ahead to their showdown with Belfry. And Estill County's not a bad team. It just, it's a bigger game this week for Lawrence County because I beat Belfry last year, so we'll talk more about that in a minute. Then, of course, we had 2 games Thursday night. Jackson County beat Berea 46-14. Taylor County beat Wayne County, give Wayne County their first loss of the year, 21-15. Friday night, we had Letcher Central over Breathitt, 41-18. That surprised me because I thought Breathitt County was starting to turn the tide since Austin Sperry had joined the team. That might be a step back. We'll have to wait and see how they do when they got Somerset this week. Middlesboro gets a huge win over Lincoln, 34-6. Pike Central, I don't know where this comes from. They play Prestonsburg the week before in the game of the week. They get 0. This week they scored 32 to beat Floyd Central, 32-14. Big win for the Hawks in a district where you cannot afford to give any ground to anybody. Prestonsburg goes to 5-0. They beat Betsy Lane. Great game. I think these two teams are going to play again in the playoffs. I think they're going to play again. I think they're going to play for the regional title later down the road. I truly believe that.
Was that Betsy Lane, right?
No, that was at Prestonsburg. But it's still a good show about Betsy Lane because they had their chances. They squandered. They had 2 turnovers and they had many chances to win the game. They just couldn't finish it all. John High's first game against his own school didn't go as well as he wanted it to, but it ain't about what you're going to do now, it's what you're going to do later. It was 49-7, but I think Coach Hines is okay. He's fine. He knows that later down the road, South Laurel is going to be a contender in 5A football because he's going to have this playing just like Pulaski County in the upcoming years to come. Somerset 21-3 over Lincoln County. And then yesterday, we had 5 games with East Ridge over Jenkins, 50-6. E-Town, Pulaski County game made 6. E-Town beat Shelby Valley, 49-44. Shelby Valley's 0-5. Harlan wins the 119 game, 38-14 over Pineville. Pikeville picks up a game on Friday and beats GRC 28-7. And Tug West Virginia beat Morgan County 48-6. Okay, before we go into the schedule, give me some of your thoughts on some of them scores.
My biggest. So I was at the Pulaski County South Laurel game. That Maroon team is just special. Travis Burns is doing a great job in his first year. Kason Brock, the running back, I think he had 18 carries for like 200 or 13 carries for like 200 yards. He's a workhorse back there. I think he's a great running back.
Uh-oh. I think I smell a player of the week candidate.
Bell County getting a win, that's always big. After their first loss of the season to North Laurel, that kind of shocked everybody. And then, Dudley does what Dudley does, and he picks it up the rest of the season. Rock beating Clay in an absolute dogfight. Big win for Rock. As you mentioned, CJ, going a much needed win for them, especially going up against Bell County. I think Clay County was a dogfight. Bell County is going to be just as much of a dogfight. You
don't go to Manchester and usually come out with a W. That's why I said that was impressive in the shutout too. But anything else may have caught your eye?
I can't think of any major surprises. Big shout out to Brian Williams picking up his first win for Harlan. I was at that game. It was a muddy one, but it was it seemed like a very emotional first half between both teams, very choppy, and then just happy for Brian Williams picking up his first win at Harlan.
Yeah, it was congratulations to him as well. Okay, let's get into the schedule. We don't have a ton of teams playing. We have a lot of teams off. Prairie Central's off. Leslie County's off. There's some other schools that are off because they're open dates, stuff like that. Let's go over the schedule. We've got, as far as the radio coverage teams, all one playing this week's Hazard. They're playing Raceland. And this could be a preview of a game we may see in November because these are two. I think Hazard is for real. I think Hazard can play with anybody in Class A football they want to play with. They showed that in the first half against Corbin. I think they're going to take the momentum and go to Raceland. I think they're going to play well. Now, Raceland played awfully well Friday night. They beat Newport Central Catholic, who's a pretty good football team. They beat them pretty bad, 29-6. So it'll be a big game for both these teams. It's a big Class A game, and it's a big RPI game for both teams. Because the winner is probably going to stay in the top 5 in the RPI. The loser is probably going to drop down under the 10. So then it's huge for both teams. And then you can pick any one of these next 4 games to be your game of the week. Any one of them. If you had 4 channels, we could have 4 games of the week, okay? You got Corbin at Johnson Central. You got Bell County at Rockcastle County. You got Belfry at Lawrence County. And you got North Laurel at South Laurel. Okay, now we're going to dissect these individually because, first of all, you're going to tell me the game of the week. Let me guess you first. I think you guys are going to do the Bell. No, not Bell Rock. I think you're going to go do the North-South game because you've done it the last 3 years, and I figured you would do it again this year. I wish you would do the Corbin Johnson Central game because I personally, I can't. I'm going to be busy with some wrestling. I'm going to be doing Friday night and Saturday night in Middlesboro, so I'll have to. I can't get a chance to watch, but okay. Let's see if I was right. Game of the week. Who is it?
So it is North-South, but I will say we did try Corbin JC, and I'm pretty sure we were denied on that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. No, it's a Johnson Central. That's a Johnson Central, right?
Let me pull up real quick.
I think the Johnson Central. I'm surprised that Johnson Central wouldn't let you guys come over there and do that game, because that's a little surprising.
Yeah, so it is at Johnson Central. Sorry, but I will. We gave it a shot. I think we reached out. We wanted to do it. I think we were told no. That's from my understanding.
I understand. Listen. I know those Pike County schools doesn't like, especially in the regular season, they don't like. They
don't like other media outlets stepping on their turf, which I get it. But again, that type of stuff is above my pay grade. Making those things happen.
But I know with these 4, and I thought Pulaski County in there, they got a huge game with Madison Central on the road. And I know you're going to cover these 4 games the hardest because these are your 4. This is like a good college Saturday here because you've got these are the best teams in the district in these classes. Yeah. So this is what you want to see. And this is what's this week's going to be more important because these are crucial games for everybody. A big RPI game for Johnson Central and Corbin because the winner is probably going to get a better RPI rating, and it's going to keep them away from Boyle County or Franklin County or Paducah-Tillman. Bell and Rock. We saw Rock beat Bell last year at Bell. Can Bell return the favorite? Let's see. And then Belfry lost to Lawrence County last year, right? At the CAM?
I thought Belfry pulled away in that game.
Okay, they did come back. Okay, I thought what was it? Was it year before last? What year did Lawrence County beat Belfry? Look that up for me.
I'm pulling that up right now. I'm looking at.
I thought it was last year or maybe year before last. I know they beat Belfry one of the last 2 years. I know.
Let me.
While he's doing that, some other games that are some pretty good games here. You got Breathitt County at Somerset. You got East Ridge at Paintsville. Hardin at Middlesboro. This is for a home playoff game here. The winner probably gets the home playoff game in the playoffs. Jenkins is at Jackson County, North County Central at Floyd Central. Okay. I'll go ahead and rest the schedule after you tell me.
So it was 2 years ago, by the way. Belton
2 years ago.
County 2 years ago. Last year they beat.
I was thinking that.
That was at Lawrence County 2 years ago, right?
Yes.
Okay. Other games, you got Knox County at Floyd Central. You got Knox Central at McCree Central. You got McGoffin County playing their second game this week as they'll play Powell. Powell County's second game as they play McGoffin County at Powell. Here's the big game: Martin County at Prestonsburg, Southwestern at Hardin County. Now, I still have not found out if Whitley County is playing anybody. They don't have it listed on their schedule. They have a game, but I think they have picked one up, but I don't know who they're playing.
I didn't see one on KHSA's website.
I didn't see one either. So I've got them as to be announced, but they may just be an open date. So you got Williamsburg at Pineville. Pineville gets to have their first game on their new turf and new stadium. Holy Cross is at Morgan County. Lincoln County is at Wayne County. Craig County is at Virginia is at Phelps. Ireland of Ohio is at Pikeville. And Powell County again plays tomorrow night in the second game of the week as they play at Fairview.
That Ironton-Pikeville game is going to be good. It's not going to impact RPI for Pikeville, unfortunately, because it's an out-of-state team. But Pikeville, so Ironton is one of those teams that I covered in college. They're over the last couple of years, a powerhouse in Southeast Ohio. I talked to a couple guys back in college. They're thinking of making that 3-hour drive from the Athens area to come to Pikeville for it. I think it'll be a big game. I think it'll help us figure out Pikeville more. I think it's Pikeville's schedule is incredibly tough. Like, that's what makes Pikeville so hard to figure out. Yeah, their record doesn't look great, but they play awfully tough teams, and it's hard to beat the teams that they play.
But we saw this same script about 5 years ago when Belfry did it. 0-5, sky's falling in. People think
and went on to win the state title,
and they won the state title. Yeah. So I'm not. No, I don't blow that smoke at me. I'm they may have a 6. They may have a they may have a winning record, 8-6, 8-7, but they'll probably be at Kroger Field.
Yeah. There's still that team that can do it. McNamee's been there the last 3 years. I trust him to be there again.
Yeah, that don't surprise me a bit. Yeah, that's just
they could get on a roll and go all the way and win it again.
Yeah. But you know what? Class A football is very, very strong. You've got about 7 teams over there. You got Sayre, Campbellsville, Bethlehem. Bethlehem and Campbellsville play each other Friday night. They're number 1 and 2 in the RPI. So that just tells you. Let me get some of the games we got here in the state next week. This coming week, you got Mayo and Frederick Douglass. We done talked with Coach McPeek about that. You got Ryle at St. X. You got St. X out of Ohio playing Trinity. You got another big game. You got Bryan Station, Henry Clay. That's a big-time Lexington game. Sayre plays Bourbon. Shouldn't have no problem with that. Sayre should be 6-0 after that. Beechwood plays Walton Verona. Walton Verona's not bad. I'm sorry. Let me take it back. Campbellsville plays Danville this week. I think they play Bethlehem next week. I'm going to correct myself. Campbellsville plays Danville. Because this is Danville. This is their last non-district game. It's a Thursday night game, actually. And then Connor and Cooper play each other, and they're top 5 in RPI and 5A. So some big games out in the state as well. Let's talk about football yesterday. Was there a game somewhere in Rockford, Mississippi? Somebody was telling me about a game. I don't know.
Game? Yes, there was a game.
Somebody was telling me about a game.
Probably the second best game of the night. If it wasn't for that Georgia-Bama game, it might have been the best game of the day. That Georgia-Bama game takes over, but it was a big game to kick off your college football Saturday.
I told a lot of people, I said, guys, Kentucky's defense is going to keep them in the game. I said, it might be a high-scoring game, but they're going to stay in the game because of their defense. Everybody said, no, they can't. Kentucky's defense is top 5 in the nation. I'll tell you that, and I'll put them up against anybody. I'll put them up against Georgia, Alabama, Florida. I don't care who it is. Put them against anybody. Yeah. Kentucky's defense is the real deal.
But I think got sacked like 4 or 5 times, and we were fortunate.
Look, when you have Ole Miss's coach telling you that, listen, he goes, I hope I get this right. He goes, I've known Mark Stoops a long time. I would have never dreamed he'd throw the 70-yard pass. I mean, a 40-yard pass in a fourth quarter on a 4th and 7. He goes, I would have never dreamed that. He goes, I've been coaching against. I was like, Lane, you need to calm down there, big guy.
I've been very critical of Coach Stoops' play calling the last 2 weeks. The way that he punted against Georgia.
But yesterday, he throwed it out the door. I mean, he went for it.
He went for it at least twice that game, and both of them worked out. I'm incredibly impressed with his play calling that game.
Had they not converted, they'd have left Ole Miss in good field position.
Right. But I still would have made that play call if I was Stoops, because given the situation you're in, in order to beat a team that has that type of offense, you held them to less than 20, but you got to score points with them. And he made the right play call. He trusted his weapons, and I'm all the credit in the world goes to that coaching staff. The players on the field, obviously, they did their thing, but I give a lot of credit to that coaching
great
staff.
Great coverage too. He had someone right on him, and he still grabbed that football.
Barry and Brown will touch the football. If I was offensive coordinator, Barry Brown, Dane Keem touched every time.
Yeah.
There ain't no – listen, they're going to be top – they're going to be number 1 receivers in the upcoming NFL draft coming. Dane Key's probably going to be the most special one. I mean, I think Barry Brown's going to be a great receiver in the NFL. I think Dane Key's going to be better because but Barry Brown is money time. You've got to get the football to those two guys. The thing too is we're off this week. There's a chance you're going to get your start running back for the Vanderbilt game. The Vanderbilt game is looking like right now it's going to be a night game because you got Keeneland going on. Usually when Keeneland is going on, Kentucky usually plays a couple of night games because people want to go to Keeneland during the day.
And I hope that's
not and then
that could be a trap game in some ways.
If you overlook Vanderbilt, they'll make you pay for it because they did the same thing to Missouri. The
next three games are traps for the Kentucky Wildcats. 2 of them are home. It's Auburn and Vanderbilt. Both teams can beat you if you don't right play. And Florida, even though we beat Florida 3 straight and 2 in the swamp, it's still we could go down there and have a brain problem and not forget what we're doing, and we can lose them easy, knowing that Tennessee is right after Florida. And then everybody's going to say, well, Kentucky can get 6-2. The Tennessee game becomes the game of the year again. Yeah. And Kentucky's not won in Rocky Top a long time. So I mean,
they could go down there and beat them. That was great to beat that crowd there at Oxford was unbelievable.
There was all Ole Miss people, and then there's like one little old section up here with blue and white. It's crazy.
I didn't get to watch the game because my power was out, but I was listening to it on the radio, and I couldn't. But that last, that play where we scored, got that pass and scored. Tom Leach, I mean, he just.
Oh, they're the best. Listen,
he's such an exciting announcer.
Tom Leach and his sidekick are the best in the business. I love listening to them too.
Yeah,
they get chill bumps all over me.
Jeff McCord, yeah.
Yeah, Jeff McCord. I keep forgetting his name. He's probably one of the best announcers in the business. Let's see. Friday, Thursday, you guys are starting to you're going to start your round ball interviews.
Tuesday. October 1st.
Yes.
That's when the doors officially open up. We've got a lot of people signing up for it.
Yeah, I figured you would. Oh, they're ready to go. They're ready to come to the studio and do some round ball previews. Look here. We just started football. Well, football's almost over. We got 4 weeks left. this is week 6. We really technically 5, but I'll say 6. But I love your cat, by the way. He is so adorable.
She's a pest.
Well, I love cats. Cats are my favorite animal. I love cats. Say hello, little guy. But tell everybody about what the round ball schedule and what we should expect from that in the weeks to come.
So a lot of October is just going to be getting stuff together.
Yeah.
A lot of the teams are going to come into the studio. We'll give them quick tours, and then we'll talk to the coaches and some of the players just about what to expect. Similar to Pigskin previews, except this one a lot more teams. So we'll, to make it easier for everybody, have them come here, and we just try to learn more about what we can expect. I think the tentative date to start airing is November, is when you'll start actually seeing them on TV. That gives us a little time to get a head start for our end to just make sure, hey, let's get everything ready. Let's make sure we have stuff in the chamber. And then come November, we'll start showing everybody what high school basketball teams are looking like this year.
Then your previews are going to be at the end of November.
The top 10 shows?
Top 10 shows, one night girls and one night boys, right?
Yeah, I think those will air early December, right before the first games, or it's all tentative. I think we've got the dates early December for the top 10 shows to air, but all of them start airing some of the teams will start airing November, but the top 10s will be December.
And we should hear pretty soon in the next 2 to 3 weeks about the draw for the WYMT Mountain Basketball Classic, right?
Yes.
We should see the pairings coming out pretty soon, sometime in October.
I believe so. I think we're starting to get those, get stuff ready for that. We just put out apply for the scholarships and stuff. So I think things are working their way for the Mountain Basketball Classic.
I can't wait to see the matchup, especially on the boys' side. I think this field of 8, it's got a big time. You're going to wind up with a couple of matchups in the first round that are going to be good. You're going to probably, if you get semifinals of what people think you're going to get, it's going to be 2 of the best semifinal games on the boys' side that I think you've seen in such a long time. When you've got the 6 best teams and the 13 and 14 playing, and then you sprinkle in Prestonsburg and Paintsville, who are not shabby at all. It's going to be. I can't wait to see the matchups on both sides. It's going to be really interesting. Yeah, Mr. Jack, great as usual. I think Amondo's going to be with me next week, right?
I believe so. I believe so. We'll all work it out. Thank you, CJ, for having me as always. I always love talking to you guys about sports. Big win.
Number 1. We're 1-3 now.
Yeah, we need that one. 1-3 playing Baltimore.
What's the score of the Bills game? I've not had a chance to check it out.
It's halftime. Baltimore was beating them big. I think they're up 21-3 or something. Buffalo's not doing much.
Yeah, I was afraid of that. Ravens are starting to come along now, and unfortunately, the Bengals play Ravens next week. So,
yeah.
Am I right? The 14th region media days are this Friday.
Friday, yeah. Friday morning, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or something like that.
Jack, you're a great man. God bless you, son, and we will talk to you very soon.
Thank you, sir. Can't wait. Let's finish out the football year strong.
Yep.
Excited to see how it plays out and get ready for basketball season.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait. Playoffs will be here before we know it.
Take care, you too.
You have a good one. Thank you, sir. Jack Demmler from WYMT. Let me go ahead and give a few final notes, and we'll get out of here. I want to thank all of our guests. Oh, what a show we've had here. Kitty G, Coach McPeek, Coach Woodman, and then Jack. Oh, what a show. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Great. I will be back with you next Sunday night, 8 o'clock, right here. Again, I will be episode number 8 of the CJ Howard Show. My co-host is going to be Nathan Little. And I have 2 guests already booked. We're going to hear from Paintsville head coach Trevor Hoskins, and we're going to hear from Prestonsburg head football coach Wesley Haggard. We'll talk to them, and we'll have some other guests as well. on the show next week. So don't forget. Guys, go out and check my Facebook page. I want you to go. I want you to share it with your family and friends. I want you to share it all over the place. I want you guys to promote this thing. We had no comments tonight from nobody. And I had nobody like the show or we had several people watching, but probably one of my fault, I did not promote this. I couldn't post on my Facebook this week because I don't know. They told me I couldn't post for 8 days, so I can post now. So I'll post it much
because it was like you said, it was spur of the moment. But I'm glad I was able to come on with you.
Oh, I'm tickled to death. I got something I'm gonna say to you when we get done. I want everybody go to my YouTube channel. I want you to check out. I want you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Guys, if you want to follow me, I'm on TikTok. I'm eventually going to put this show on TikTok. Hopefully pretty soon. I'm working out the kinks and stuff. Guys, I have a GoFundMe page. I'm trying to get a car. I need one bad. So if you can help me with any donations, I would appreciate anything you guys can help me with. You can go to my Facebook page. You can find that GoFundMe there. I would appreciate any help that you guys can give me.
And prayer helps with that as well.
It does. Speaking of prayer, let me go ahead and give the prayers out one more time for the people we done earlier. I want to pray for the people in the hurricane. I want to make sure we give them prayers. I want to pray for my dear friend that I lost this past Friday, Brooke Kraft, great individual. If you didn't know her, you missed out on a one special individual. I want to pray for her family, friends in the days to come. I want to also pray for Ashley as she is getting a little bit better each day. And I want to pray for Shannon and the family. Also, we want to pray for my ex-wife's nephew, Robert Garland. He's going through a little sickness right now. And we also don't forget the people in Laurel County and Livingston, even though they did catch the man that was involved in the event there a couple weeks ago, they still need your prayers because that's still fresh in their memories. And
Letcher County as well.
And Letcher County, don't forget about that. Please do not forget all those people as well. All right, Sanders, before I let you give your final comment, you do not know how I appreciate you coming on here and being with me because it's hard to do the show by myself because I don't have I have a lot of content, but it's good when I can talk to somebody. We can talk back and forth and have the talk. Just thank you so much, and I know I'm gonna bring you back. I want you to do a couple more shows with me, and
I've enjoyed it, and I'm glad I could help you. Really,
yes, yes. Give me your final thoughts, and we'll get out of here.
Well, I'm looking forward to the remainder of the season, football season, and then I like to come back on CJ with you when basketball is getting around the corner, and we'll talk some basketball.
Oh, definitely, no problem.
That's my favorite sport right there is basketball.
Tell everybody about your Facebook page and your other media outlets.
Okay, I do Turner Sports Group, and I've got some guys that help along with that. Shout out to James Elliott Turner, and he helps a lot with that, and he's part of that as well. And I've got another sports group that I do is ST Sports and Roundtable, but I devote most of my time to Turner Sports Group, and I try to promote our area kids, and cover, the main three big sports, but then I try to cover some coverage, with the soccer and the volleyball too. And of course, in the spring, the fast pitch and that kind of stuff too.
Yeah. No question about it. Again, do not leave me when we're done after we get off. I want to say something when we're not live. Okay. Again, reminder, everybody, I'll be back with you next Sunday night for episode number 8 of the CJ Howard Show. I'll be right here at 8 o'clock. This is CJ Howard, rounding third and heading for home. And as Casey Kasem would say, keep your feet on the ground, and keep reaching for the stars. I love you all.
Good night.
God bless you, and good night, everybody.
Good night.